We're doing question number 2 of May June 2021 paper 4-2, and this is the question related to arrays and linear search, and I think probably binary search is okay, bubble sort. So very simple, as we have done this multiple times before. The question says write a code for a new program to declare the global 1D array data with 10 elements. So we have to add all of these in the array. So array data is equal to this, then 10, 5, 6, 7, 1, 12, 13, 15, 21, and 8. It's done. So this is automatically global. Initialize array data in the main program using the data values shown. Okay, so this would be in the main program. And then we'll use the global keyword to access them anywhere inside the program. A function linear search will take an integer, and then we are supposed to look for that value in the array. Returns true if the value is found, otherwise if not found. Okay, so since it's a function, we can use the return keyword, which means we can instantly end the whole function once we find the value. So we don't need to use any while loop. We can just simply do it using a for loop. So define linear search. Linear search will take in a search value, and then we have here, we are going to look for that value in the array. So for I in range length of the array data, we have to first globally refer to the array data. Okay, so whatever the length of the array is, in this case it's 10. So we will go through each value and we'll check. So if the array data's current value at the current index, if it is equal to the search value, then that means we have found the index. So that's just asking us to return true and false. So we don't even need to return the index. So let's say we're looking for 10, we find 10 at index 0, we just return true. Return true, else return false. That's it. Okay, then in the next part they're saying edit the main program to allow the user to input an integer value, pass the value to the linear search, and output the appropriate message. Again, extremely simple. So we will just ask the user for the input and then we'll proceed. So search, or let's call it target. Target is equal to int input, enter target value, and then we'll send the target value into the linear search, and let's get the response back. Linear search, and then let's print the response. Or just to make it a bit more explanatory, we'll say that the target was target status, maybe in array would be the response. So it would either return true or false. Test your program with one value that is in the array and one that is not in the array. Okay, so let's do that. So it's returning false. This is supposed to be not indented. Okay, it should, we can just write return false. So if we use else inside, that means if we check, let's say is 10 equal to 6, no, so it will return false. Okay, and this is also a very common mistake in the exam as well. So we'll get rid of else, and then we just bring the return false outside the for loop. So if the for loop runs completely and it never returns true, then it would obviously return false, meaning that the value does not exist. So let's retry this. Let's write 6 now, and it says true. And let's write 11 now, and it should say false. Okay, it's working correctly. Then in part C, we are supposed to implement a bubble sort, which is again very simple. And in this question, they've given us the pseudocode too, so we'll implement it. Let's hide the code. So we have defined bubble sort. It's going to be a procedure, so no return keyword. So declare temp x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So we'll just complete these. So for x in range 0 to, okay, so the length of the array is 10. So we're basically going to go till 10. And we don't even need to write 0 comma. So it should just be 10. And then for the inner loop is for I in range 10. Okay, so this will not go till 10, this will go until 9. Again, the reason, as always, because bubble sort, we check the current value against the next value. And after the last value, there is no other value. So this will be an invalid array operation. So what we do is we make sure that we end the loop at the second last value while comparing it with the last value. So that is why we do -1, and range will automatically make it -1. So technically it would become 8, and then the from 0 to 8 will actually be at this value. So I'll make it 9. Okay, and then we have to check the
Why are they?
if the array index y is okay. So they're saying we have to do it in descending order. So what will be the symbol here? Less than or greater than? Can you tell me? Then the array.
Greater than?
Yes, perfect. So the array, so it should be greater than, and this should be the next value, which is y plus 1. Okay, when that is true, the array, okay, there's no the array here, so we'll figure that part in a bit. I think it is supposed to be okay, so we'll call it on the array. All right, so then we'll check if that is true. We'll set temp to the array. I'll just copy the array and we'll store the value of y here. Then we'll say that the current value will get the next value, which is y plus 1, and then the next value will get the value that we stored in the temp, which was initially the second value. So that is how we'll swap these values out with each other. And then that's it. Okay, so we go further. But then they're saying write code for to sort the array. Okay, that's it. So we don't even have to test it in this case.
In the question, does it not say descending order?
Yes, for descending, this should be less. Okay. Yes, for descending, so this is less than. For ascending, this should be greater than. So if the current value is greater than the next value, then that means we are sorting it in the ascending order. So we'll make it descending. Okay, let's, even though the question does not ask us to, but we should still run this. Let's call it the array. And okay, but here we have glue array data. So let's set back to array data, and we have bubble sort here. Let's send the array data in here, which will be got as the array here. Then different names does not matter, and then we can just run this and then print the value of the array data again. Let's see.